Welcome everyone back to Pommy and Oz. Hope we're all doing really well. If you're new around here, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe. We're smashing out subscribers and I can't thank you enough. We will be live Sunday, ARBOR. We're going to do some AFL 23 content with the members. So if you want to become a member, do that. Link is in the description. We're going to give away one of these bad boys. And we're going to do a little Pommy and Oz care package. So bang for your buck there for a price of coffee if you want to support the channel out that way. And we're doing the Brisbane versus Carlton preview, which I'm super excited with. Carlton coming off the back of a 100-point win, which is as rare as rocking horse poo, let's be honest. And I can't remember off the top of my head the last time I saw a rocking horse poo. But that being said, we're going into this game with really something to gain. They've got confidence. Last week they weren't really challenged, so they got to go through the motions in transition, ball movement, which culminated in the third and the fourth count and looked pretty handy at that stage. But that 100-point win means nothing other than we've done it if we can't back it up here. And we go to the Marvel to face really a very, very good Brisbane Lions side, who themselves have kind of been a query this year, I would say, in the AFL. It's kind of hard to know how you read Brisbane, in a way. When you watch Brisbane play, a little better record than Carlton. They obviously lost their first game, but since then, they had that win to Melbourne, lost to Doggies, lost to a big win against Collingwood, huge win versus North Melbourne, good win against GWS, and they've continued that. So they're on a bit of a streak since that Doggies game, that little blip, and they'll be confident high. They have lost Rich though for this game, and they've lost Zorko, who we do know on a transition part Rich is really incredibly important, and Zorko is definitely a mentality monster, someone that sets them up. So it's a real interesting game this, because should Carlton win it, the questions of them beating a side that is potentially top four are kind of gone, but they'll probably still remain because people will be like, oh, Zorko and Rich. But do Zorko and Rich make them top four? I genuinely don't believe so. But this is a real big win because this really would set Carlton in motion with some real handy weeks ahead. And definitely, if they can find their best, they have recent memories with these side where they'll feel comfortable, which is impressive. But let's look into the players that are going to be an issue. Harris Andrews, arguably one of the best key defenders in the game. He is almost everywhere, very tough to beat, and an incredible little player, the way that he goes about his work and his work ethic. And let's look at him this year. 70.8% one-on-ones won, that's good. 7.4 spoils, 8.4 marks, 86.6% disposal efficiency, just under 2 score launches. This guy can hurt you in transition too. He's very, very smart at what he does. He uses his body very well, and he's very good, and he doesn't often get beaten. But one of the things is with this guy is that when he does win the ball as well, he uses it incredibly well and gets them going from back to front, which could be a danger for the Blues, because that is an area of concern for our beloved Blue Boys. The next guy we're going to look at here, Neil Campilia. This guy here is a top-class footballer, and probably one of the more understated players who might be in the media a lot, but no one seems to take him serious, and these are the reasons why you have to. He's an absolute little magnet for the ball, but he also finds the ball in the right way. You've got 15 contested possessions, 10.7 ground ball gets, they're all elite, 4 tackles, 76% disposal efficiency, good pressure acts as well. He is in and amongst it in that engine room. He's looking to make things happen. He's definitely one of them players that you have to stop, because his ability as well to hit them handballs in traffic, 2 runners, can cause devastation and get you on the counter very quickly. He's a very clever little footballer as well with the way he handles himself, particularly around stoppage. He really does know when to hang back and also get involved. So definitely someone to keep an eye on there. The next guy is Flash Charlie. This kid can play football. Charlie Cameron, probably everyone's favourite player who doesn't play for their club. You can never hate Charlie Cameron. An absolute jet in every sense of the word. And he's one of them positions that Carlton historically can struggle from. 4.6 shots, that's elite. 6.67 score involvements, again, elite. 1.9 tackles, he isn't shy of his tackle inside 50. 0.9 marks on the lead. Why have we got this stat? It's really impressive that these small pockets, particularly who lead from the pocket outside 50, do hurt Carlton zonally. And 3.1 goals is why you've got to watch him. He's definitely going to be a guy that's probably going to get attention from our mate Nick Newman. Or will Carlton go bold and play Adam Sard and try and give him some defensive responsibilities, which he isn't shy to do. But if you can get him defending, that really does help the Blues out. For me, think Nick Newman may get the gig. He'll be very confident, especially ground balls and balls on the deck. So that would be a really good matchup, and one that will go a long way to beating the Lions. Camsition, we've called it. Now, people might be looking and going, Cam Rayner, has Pom lost it? I'm going to tell you for why. Now, his numbers aren't so impressive. 50% one-on-one ratio, 1.7 tackles, but that is going to be the key here. I think this guy will get Dan Ritchie's job. And at the moment, Dan Ritchie is that priority. Conor McKenna gets the ball out with foot speed. This guy here, they're going to use his kicking. Now, 66.1 kicking efficiency isn't very good. It's nearly elite. 0.7 score launches a game. 3 intercept possessions is elite. This guy's going to get a lot of the ball down back, and he's going to be the guy that's going to be trying to pincer Carlton's midfield zones to get to the goals. And this is a guy that with no Rich, I'm looking at and thinking he might be their rabbit in the hole. Their little ace up their sleeve. This kid can play football, and he's really got a bit of a resurgence down halfback. And you can see why. He uses the ball incredibly well. He's got some real good canny football smarts. Definitely a player that I'm looking at here and thinking with no Rich, someone's got to replace him. Could be this guy that's going to be using a lot of them kicks to pincer you. But how do we counter it? We have got the intercept brothers, Brodie Kemp and Mitch McGovern. And I am a huge advocate of 2 intercept defenders, especially the way Carlton play with their guiltiness of being slow. Both of these guys use the ball in dangerous areas, in the corridor. They play it quickly. So far, after 1 game played, these are flawed stats, remember, but he hasn't lost one-on-one, which is good. 2 spoils a game. We know he goes for marks. 4 marks, intercepts this week. Real strong. You can see he reads the ball incredibly early in flight. He's going to have to do that. 72.7% kicking efficiency, which is AFL average. He would need to work on that, but I will give him this. 90% of his kicks this week were in dangerous positions, which I'm not going to slag a player off for. We've got far too many players that cozy the ball. I want to see Kemp attack and go. And an AFL average of 1 score launch. And then he's backed up by his brother here in arms in the intercept world. 80% of contested one-on-ones won. Forgotten part of Mitch McGovern this game, that as an intercept defender, he can also defend, which is a rarity in itself. 3.2 spoils in the good category, 2.5 intercept marks, elite, 82.7 offense efficiency with kick, 2.2 score launches. These two here have got, with the way that they enter to Hitwood and Danaher, they're going to get opportunities. And we've got to try and get these guys in the mode where they can free up. What is really good as well is the way that Danaher particularly attacks the ball. It's opening you up to intercept opportunities because of his running lanes. He likes to lead out of the square, which gives you that ability, if these two work in tandem, to ping and have that intercept. And they play a heavy forward zonal system. So this can get you +8 players very quickly over the back. And both of these are going to be very integral. And if their kicking's on, Carlton have got a huge chance. The others is the conduit boys. My 2 boys, we've got Mr. Motlop, who I expect to return, and Big Corey D. And let's look at Motlop this year. Way below the AFL average of 1.5 shots. He has to get higher up the ground. He has to stay front and centre. He has to do his job, basically. 4.45 score involvements, about AFL average. Good tackle numbers, though. 1.5 tackles inside 50, 18.5 pressure acts, AFL average of 1 goal a game. We need to lock it in. We need to lock it in with these guys. Repeat entries break down Brisbane. We're both almost identical as a team. We're slightly ahead on goals scored from D50 and goals against from D50. So they're very similar matchups, very like for like. And it's going to be that forward pressure that really breaks the game over, particularly in a game that is so heavily dependent on turnover, and we ain't going to have 80 points turnover like we did last week against the Lions. Corey Durden, again, AFL average and scoring shots. We need to get these guys front and centre working off, because there is opportunities really in reality from the marks that aren't taken against our inside 50s for these guys to have buckets of goals. 4.7 score involvements. Again, good numbers though. Very good numbers. Healthy numbers. 1.5 and 18.2 pressure acts. 1.2 goals a game. We've got to get something from these guys. One of these two guys this week needs to kick 2 goals. Don't care who it is, but they've got to get front and centre and put the pressure on. First use man up next, and that is our friend Mark Pittoner, who incidentally gets a lot of hate, but he's definitely in the top 5 of ruckmen in the AFL for ruck work, without a shadow of a doubt. AFL average 46.7 hit-out win percentage, but look out the hit-outs to advantage. That's elite. That is top quality work. And then the ground balls, this is probably an area that I'd like to see him get a bit better at, below his feet. Not all ruckmen are good, but when you're comparing this against ruckmen, that is below the AFL norm. Score launches, though, very good. Very good. 2.7 clearances. I'd like to see him get involved a bit more. There's times that he goes to body and create the space, where sometimes I'd like him to be direct and just get it forward. Get it moving forward to the smalls we've talked about, to the half forwards, and get it. But a real solid, he's going to have a great battle with Oscar McInerney this week, and one that I feel that he should feel like he'll win this one quite comfortably, almost. The linking up crew, J Sauce and Fish. Let's have a wee look at what we're talking about them. This is so important as well. The midfield battle kind of takes care of itself. For me, high half forward is a huge issue at Carlton. And we know how Vossi likes to play. He likes one high floor player. This guy, one guy that can maybe give you something else who mixes it up. So what we've done here, try and explain the difference in roles. So we've taken AFL positional stats for that type of role player. So Jesus here is going to be that conduit. He's going to be that target down that wing, that exit ball, the kick inside. Marks on the lead, 1.3. He's very good at coming from deep there. 5.6 score involvements. I need that up from Jesus. He's far too talented with his entries. Entries over the last 3 years have been really strong from him. We've seen it die off since the Ruck saga last year. And I'm willing to give him a bit of time on the basis that it's a rhythm position. Contested marks. This is where I need to see him start. We need to start targeting, but we also need this area here of where he's either taking them or bringing them to ground. Inside 50s, 2.3. You see, he's where we need to be. 1 goal 1, which is just below average of where he's playing. But that one of them needs to be an elite. Inside 50s for this role to work perfectly in our system, because I think our forward line is pretty strong. We need one of these numbers to be elite. And Jesus can do it. We do target him. We just need to target him in the right areas. And here is Zach Fisher. Zach Fisher, we love Zach Fisher. I don't want people thinking I don't. I expect perfection, though. That's the aim. Kicking efficiency, below AFL average. And you can see here that what they're doing is they use this guy as a conduit. Quite often you see Hollands or Akers, depending on what side of the ground he's playing. Sard or Doc, if they're playing high half back, overlap this guy. He's got a very interim position. 4.3 score involvements and 13 pressure acts. We need these numbers to live, particularly the pressure acts. Not so bothered about the tackles. He's got to stop clean kicks, though. And sometimes that's my issue with Zachy. 1.6 inside 50s. He needs to start using it more. I'd love to see him use that blazing kick he does into the pockets. I'd like to see him do that more, because I think that's an avenue there that we do like to target that area. I feel like Zach sometimes tries to get too intricate. Sometimes just go back to basics. You've got 2 big towers there. Use them. And 1.4 score shots, which isn't bad, but it's workable. And let's have a look at what the team is that we've gone with this week. I haven't made any bold changes, to be honest. I've been quite boring. I've gone Kemp, Wheater, Newman, Sardi, Young, Doc, Akers, Cripps, Hollands, that's set and forget. Walsh, because they started on the half-forward line, I'm going to bring him in. Mackay, Jesus, Durden, Kerner, and Motlop. Pitt, Chera, Hewitt, and then my bench, Chincotta, Marchbank, Kennedy, and Fish, with my sub in this one being an activation sub in case someone gets off the chain. We can mix it up and bring in Ed Kerner on that pine, which allows the other boys to get some VFL game, which I think is really important, particularly Cotters and Boyd. I want to see another week, get that fitness levels up for the tough crunch parts coming up. That's the preview. I can't wait to be live for this game. I'll be back tonight with the teams with Old Let Dogs, so come and say hello as we see the teams announced. Tough game. I'm going to predict Carlton by 12. Carlton by 12. Let me know your predictions. Look after yourself. Stay safe. And until next time, peace. Pom out.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad.